Here we go. Tonight on Nebraska Nightly.
Police make an arrest in a downtown Lincoln shooting.
A woman robbed while running on a Lincoln trail.
And a live interview on why you should get out and vote. This is Nebraska Nightly.
Live from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Evie Storjohn.
And I'm Madeline Fox. Our top story today. Police have arrested and charged a 17-year-old after a shooting last fall that wounded 4 people in downtown Lincoln. On October 20th, 2023, Lincoln police responded to the area of 14th and O Streets around 12:45 a.m., where they discovered multiple shell casings and businesses damaged by gunfire. They also found a victim who had been shot near the Cornhusker Hotel. They were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities later discovered that 3 other people showed up at the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Teeth-Louch Beal is facing 6 felony charges, which include use of a weapon to commit a felony, possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, and second-degree assault. Beal was arrested on March 27th. A Lancaster County judge set his bond at 10% of $1 million. He's currently being held at the Youth Intake Center. His next hearing is scheduled for May 1st.
Police are still looking for the man who assaulted and robbed a woman while she was on a Lincoln trail. A Lincoln woman was out for a run Wednesday afternoon and was knocked to the ground and robbed by a man who then ran off, according to police. Officers were called to the Rock Island Trail near 33rd and Van Dorn around 12:20 p.m. She suffered minor injuries after being thrown down. Police say the man stole her headphones. A search of the area came up empty and no one has been arrested. Anyone with information about the incident or anyone who may have witnessed it should call police at 402-441-6000.
The legislature's Education Committee advanced a proposed ban on transgender K-12 students from using restrooms or locker rooms that do not match their biological sex at birth. The bill, Sports and Spaces Act, was proposed last year, and it was advanced to the floor on yesterday on a 5-2 vote. The final day bills can be voted on in committee. Governor Jim Pillen signaled his support for the bill in his annual State of the State address in January and urged the legislature to send it to his desk. Other senators have expressed their desire that the bill be brought to the floor. The bill has 28 co-sponsors. And breaking this afternoon, the bill fell 2 votes short of overcoming a filibuster. With only 4 days left in the legislative session, that means the controversial bill will likely not become a law.
Tonight in Lincoln, First Friday Art Walk events bring fun to downtown businesses. Nebraska Nightly's Alex Gryzanowski has the story.
The Sheldon Art Museum will host 2 UNL a cappella groups in their Great Hall. The all-male group, the Bathtub Dogs, and all-treble group, Boots and Cats, will perform 2 15-minute sets from 5 to 6:30 p.m.
It's an amazing space in the Great Hall, acoustically. And so we were thinking about how we could get more music into the building.
Visitors are also encouraged to check out the galleries the museum has to offer. After that, head to the Tugboat Gallery for their Sweet 16 celebration from 7 to 10 p.m. The gallery will showcase past and present pieces from artists of the last 16 years.
You can come out and show your support for the arts in Lincoln.
Meanwhile, at the Francie and Finch Bookshop, celebrate a book release. The Nebraska Sandhills book features almost 40 essays about the history and conservation of the Sandhills.
I hope people come and they learn about this book and they learn about this place and they come away with a new understanding of a part of Nebraska that's interesting and beautiful.
There is still time to check out these promotions and others in downtown Lincoln. In other news, there is a presidential election this year, so there's a big push to get people out to vote, and that includes college students. Today, we have a special guest joining us from UNL's Husker Vote Coalition. Nebraska Nightly's Peyton Polad is with her now. Peyton.
Thank you, Evie. Today, I am joined by Maggie Nielsen. She's the Director of Voter Registration for the UNL Husker Vote Coalition. So Maggie, what does your position all entail?
Yeah, so as the director of voter registration, it's pretty much in the title. I work to make sure that people get registered to vote. So that's setting up tables, setting up events to work with different community organizations, finding students who might want to be deputy registrars. Anything and everything voter registration, I am trying to do.
Yes. So what are the particular plans for voting in 2024?
Yeah, so the big upcoming one this semester specifically is that the Nebraska primary for the presidential election and for other elections, Board of Regents, governors, I believe, sort of things, is this upcoming May. It's the Tuesday of finals week. I'm so sorry. So we're just trying to make sure people know their options, whether by mail, early, or in-person voting.
And what are some highlights that have been occurring since the plan had been implemented?
Yeah, so per our 2024 All-In Voter Action Plan, we know that about 92% of students are registered to vote. The All-In Campus Democracy Challenge, they rate plans out of 37 points. We got 36.5, so that is great. And we just know that Huskers are into voting, they are into civic engagement, and they are ready to participate.
Well, thank you so much, Maggie. We appreciate having you. And for more information, you can visit UNL's Husker Vote Coalition page under Student Leadership, Involvement, and Community Engagement.
The Nebraska primary election will take place on May 14th this year, and it will be the first statewide election requiring voter ID.
This is the first election requiring voter ID after the governor signed a bill into law last June. The bill establishes voter identification requirements for elections in Nebraska.
All special and statewide elections after this date will require voter ID. Acceptable forms of identification include Nebraska driver's license, military ID, Nebraska state ID, tribal ID, Nebraska college ID, U.S. passport, hospital, assisted living or nursing home records, and Nebraska political subdivision ID. For more information on voter registration, visit sos.nebraska.gov. As we're switching into April, we are also switching into warmer temperatures. Meteorologist Logan Schlottman has more.
And with those warmer temperatures usually bring a higher chance for more severe weather. As we see here, our SPC Day 2 outlook. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. They have issued a slight chance for severe weather. This is Tier 2 out of 5 on their categories. And this is going to be covering most for the slight portions of South Central Nebraska and northern central Kansas, while the marginal risk is over all the way around in more parts of Nebraska and heading all the way down to Oklahoma. We'll talk more about this and more of what we can see in the future right after the break.
Well, thanks, Logan. Coming up on Nebraska Nightly, an earthquake rattles a portion of the East Coast.
A person in Texas is infected with the bird flu.
And Oklahoma is soon to raise the age of consent.
Need for blood never stops. And at the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, your blood could help save lives. Right now, only 7% of the population donates blood. But imagine if there were more.
We're sitting at below a 7-day level of supply of all blood types across the board. So every blood type is important, and we need all donors of all types to come in and donate right now.
At the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, they believe that all types make a strong blood supply.
Welcome back. It's starting to get warmer here in Lincoln, and meteorologist Logan Schlottman has more. Logan?
We sure are seeing these more warmer temperatures as we look across the state. We are going to be in the 60s and some 70s in some places, but over the metro areas, we have 62 in Lincoln and Omaha. And over in the western part of the state, we do see that 73 in Scottsbluff and 65 in Ellsworth. But Lincoln right now is currently 62. Some clouds are still in the sky, 15-mile-per-hour breeze, and it's not really affecting most of the land. While satellite radar, we do see some more dense cloud cover covering most of Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan. But we're going to zoom in more into the state, and we're just still left with a bunch of cirrus clouds over in eastern portions of Nebraska, and over in the western part, over in Colorado too, we do see some more heavy cloud cover. But looking at the NAMS model, this is what we're really going to be looking at. This is going to be our storm activity that's going to be happening tomorrow. We're going to have a low pressure system that's going to originate over in Colorado, but it's going to start making its way, churning all the way up over into Minnesota, Wisconsin as around Sunday, Monday. But we do see you'll have a cold front that will start over in Kansas up to around middle Nebraska. That's going to be really convecting a lot of these storms and pushing them up to really precipitate some more severe storms. While looking at the SPC day out too, look again, we do see those storms that are over in South Nebraska all the way up to northern Kansas. We do have the chance for 1 or 2 isolated tornadoes out of the system, 2% chance over in the same area where that slight was. And looking at the wind outlook, wind outlook is for when we have any winds over 50 miles per hour, which is equivalent to 57 miles per hour. And that's going to be covering the same area. And same thing with hail too. That's going to be in the same area. So we have to look out and make sure you have multiple ways to alert yourself. While rain chances across Lincoln, we're going to be having that 70% chance on Saturday before we taper off down to 30%. Monday is going to be dry, but then will be more of an active week as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where they have scattered 20 to 30% chances. Now we're going to look at the rain totals. This is our GFS model. This is the American model. They're going to be showing for about ½ an inch in eastern parts of Nebraska, while over to the west is where we're going to be seeing more of that hard-hit rain, especially in Scottsbluff, where they have almost 2 inches of rain, while the Euro model is really going to be seeing the same thing too, with more heavy rain over in western Nebraska, maybe a little bit more up north, but over in eastern Nebraska, they're going to be counting for a little bit more rain, but still similar totals. While after this week, going into next week, it will be a dry week as chances are lowered for precipitation on the 8 to 14 day outlook, but temperatures are going to be on the rise as we go at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Expect some more warmer temperatures, just not for this week, but also next week. Later conditions for tonight, it'll be 46 degrees, an east-southeasterly wind of around 14 to 20 miles per hour. It'll be mostly cloudy, but will turn to partly cloudy, and gusts can get all the way up to 29 miles per hour. But let's look at tomorrow. Like I said, scattered thunderstorms are possible. That's going to be starting around 3 to around maybe midnight, but winds are really going to be fast with a southeasterly wind of 28 to 33 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms and gusts can get as high as 48 miles per hour. While the week ahead is going to be showing those rain chances on the weekend, but we'll get that sunshine back on Monday and Tuesday with some clouds possible. Wednesday, we'll still have the chance for some more scattered showers, and Thursday, Friday, more sunshine. But those temperatures, as you see after Saturday, they're going to continue to rise all the way up to 70 degrees on Friday. That's all I have for the weather today, and we'll take it right back to the desk.
This morning, a mild earthquake struck New Jersey, and it could be felt in New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. Preliminary reports indicate it was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake. The epicenter was just northeast of Lebanon, New Jersey. That's about 50 miles west of New York City. The New York Police Department said no injuries or damage have been reported, but the earthquake impacted air travel. The Federal Aviation Administration said flights at the New York Kennedy, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Newark airports were put on hold while runways were inspected for possible damage. New York has not felt a magnitude of an earthquake of this level since about 2011.
A person in Texas who had exposure to dairy cattle presumed to be infected with avian influenza, otherwise known as bird flu. The infection was mild. The Texas patient's only symptom was red eyes, and the CDC notes that it is not one typically associated with this flu, which more often causes a cough, fever, or shortness of breath. There has been no human-to-human spread in the U.S. so far. Humans can get severely ill and die from the disease. The first ever cases of bird flu were found in dairy cattle last week. The bird flu is easily transmissible among birds and fatal to domestic poultry. It is less lethal to humans and cows, however. Federal health officials say raw milk can pose a serious health risk to those who can drink it. The CDC says since the onset of the bird flu outbreak at the start of 2022, over 82 million poultry have been affected.
Although many of us will be safe from the bird flu, it could affect us in other ways. Egg prices have been increasing for months, and it could get worse as poultry farms nationwide deal with bird flu outbreaks. The average price for a dozen eggs was $3 in February, up from around $2 in the fall. Prices now are at the highest level since April 2023. Relief may be a long way off. Cal-Maine Foods, America's largest egg producer, said this week it culled around 1.6 million hens and hundreds of thousands of young chickens. Some had tested positive for bird flu at a Texas facility. Cal-Maine produces brands like Eggland's Best and Land O'Lakes eggs. The last time bird flu pushed egg prices up, they hit a record of $4.82 early last year. Cal-Maine later reported its profits surged for more than 700%.
The Oklahoma State House of Representatives is hearing a bill that could change the age of consent to 18 years old. Could this be something that all states consider, including Nebraska?
In general, the age of consent is being raised from 16 to 18.
Oklahoma could soon become one of the states that requires the age of consent to be 18 years of age if Senate Bill 615 is heard and then passed in the House. Representative Olson says the aim of the bill is to protect teenagers, especially those who might be in vulnerable situations.
We don't want an older man, say a 35-year-old man who's a coach or an authority figure, to abuse his position with a 16-year-old to get her to consent. So we don't want that to happen.
However, Olson says he and supporters of the bill don't want to interfere with what he says would be considered more normal.
Say a 16 and an 18-year-old. But so in the law, it does allow that earlier minimum age to be 14. Okay, if someone's in close to the same age. And so this moves it to 15.
In light of this bill, when we asked Olson if he believes marriage laws in the state that allow those as young as 16 to be married should also be modified, here's what he had to say.
So in general, I don't think it's to be recommended. Personally, I don't think under 20 is normally to be recommended. But that's my judgment based on a few things, but do we want to make that a matter of law?
In the state of Nebraska, the age of consent is 16. This means that an adult, someone over the age of 19, may consensually have sex with an individual age 16 or older without facing criminal charges. If the individual is under the age of 16 and the adult is at least 19 years old, then it becomes statutory rape.
Florida's Supreme Court cleared the way this week for residents to weigh in on two key issues: abortion and marijuana. The court said voters should be allowed to vote on both issues in November. They will appear as amendments to the state's constitution. Governor Ron DeSantis said Thursday he doesn't think either will pass.
Once voters figure out how radical both of those are, they're going to fail. They are very, very extreme. Look at the weed one, for example. The weed one is not just decriminalized. It's basically a license to have it anywhere you want. So no time, place, and manner restrictions. This state will start to smell like marijuana in our cities and towns. It will reduce the quality of life.
Florida's marijuana constitutional amendment would legalize pot for adults 21 and older and allow them to possess up to 3 ounces of it. The abortion amendment would forbid lawmakers from restricting the procedure before viability, as determined by a healthcare provider. Constitutional amendments in Florida require 60% of votes to be approved.
Coming up after the break, Hoiberg takes the award for National Coach of the Year.
Nebraska football wraps up another week of spring practice.
And Keisei Tominaga ends his college basketball career with a win.
Okay, so how about this much?
I don't know.
Well, how about this much?
I don't know.
How about...
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, maybe this much?
I don't know.
The very tip of your pencil, a fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. That's how much it takes for a dose of fentanyl to become lethal. Learn more at realdealonfentanyl.com.
3, 2, 1.
This is Nebraska Nightly.
If you're a student at UNL and have ever been interested in reporting or video production, Nebraska Nightly is your place.
Big Bob!
Here you can build creative skills no matter how much experience you have.
Our equipment is very, very high level here, and it's something that a lot of times a lot of people wouldn't get to access until they're kind of in a professional workspace.
Talk to a UNL advisor about joining Nebraska Nightly.
Well, it's been an exciting week in Husker athletics, and our sports director, Trey Marler, has more. Trey?
Make some more room on the trophy case in the Hoiberg household. Yesterday, Nebraska men's basketball coach Fred Hoiberg was named the 2024 Jim Phelan National Coach of the Year. The honor comes just weeks after Hoiberg was named co-Big Ten Coach of the Year. The head man led the Huskers to a 23-11 record and the program's first NCAA tournament berth since 2014. The basketball news kept rolling in as just hours after Coach Hoiberg's honor was announced, 2 stars for the Huskers announced their return for next season. In a joint announcement on social media, Juwan Gary and Bryce Williams both informed Husker Nation of their plans to return for the 2024-2025 basketball season in Lincoln. The announcement comes at a crucial point for the Huskers, who have already lost 6 players to the portal this offseason. And finally, it was an ending fit for a king. Keisei Tominaga won the 2024 Collegiate Three-Point Shooting Contest last night, doing it the only way he knows how, by putting on a show. Tominaga made 4 of his 5 money balls on the way to the title and ended it with a shot that he didn't even see go in. Tominaga is back in action tonight in the College All-Star Game at 5:30 on CBS Sports Network. To the gridiron, where it's a 3-way battle for QB1 of the Huskers. Heinrich Harburg returns as the starter from last season, and he's joined by Omaha product freshman Daniel Kalin and the 5-star freshman Dylan Raiola. All quarterbacks have made progress throughout spring camp, and the chemistry continues to grow as week 2 winds down.
Just want to play football. Getting a lot of reps is really good, especially for me and Danny, being young guys coming in. So it's been nothing but fun in the quarterback room.
I'm just worried about being the best player that I can be and competing every day. Me and Dylan, we have a good relationship already, and really just push each other to get better every day.
It has been a red-hot start for Nebraska baseball and softball. Baseball entered the top 25 for the first time since 2021 on Monday. Softball has won 10 of their last 11. Both teams are in action tonight at the Alex Gordon Trading Complex. Nebraska Nightly's Olivia Davenport has the preview. Olivia?
Thanks, Trey. I'm outside Haymarket Park, home of the number 22 ranked Nebraska baseball team. The Cornhuskers are looking to bounce back from a loss to Creighton earlier this week. Nebraska will welcome Ohio State in a 3-game series that starts tonight at 6:05 in their Big Ten season opener.
The Big Ten is really moving in the right direction. It's a pretty good conference, especially this year. I think as long as we just stick to what we're all about, which is playing hard, fast, and loose, I think we're going to be just fine.
We don't like to lose here, so we're definitely going to be focused. Hopefully we have a good crowd. It's a big weekend, but we take every game one game at a time.
Go out tonight to Haymarket Park to show your support for the Nebraska baseball team. On the other side of the fence, the Nebraska softball team is home for a 3-game series against Penn State. The softball team has won 10 of their last 11 games and will look to extend their 6-game win streak. From Haymarket Park, I'm Olivia Davenport. Back to you guys in the studio.
I was so excited to see Keisei in a Husker jersey again.
Keisei, he's always going to put on a show. If he's putting on the red and white and going out and shooting basketballs, it's going to be a show. Excited to see him at the next level. We get to see him one last time tonight at 5:30 again. That college basketball all-star game is on CBS Sports Network.
Thanks, Trey. Coming up, the UNL Rec Center is hosting a table tennis tournament.
A vintage market is setting up in the rail yard.
And a solar eclipse is available for viewing right here in Nebraska. It's a big weekend here in Lincoln, and Priscilla Castaneda is here with all the details. Priscilla?
Are you prepared to ping the pong? A table tennis tournament is happening at UNL Recreation Center. You could sign up on site at the Coliseum South Vestibule for free, but make sure you sign up before 5:30. Lincoln is taking a blast in the past for its first vintage clothing market. The Bug Eaters Vintage Market is happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will be set up at the rail yard downtown with thousands of other vintage clothes, so it's time to repeat fashion. This Monday, the solar eclipse is happening in the United States. Nebraska has a chance to see part of the eclipse, and Lincoln would be able to see 79.9%. The Hyde Memorial Observatory is inviting all space lovers to get the best view possible of the eclipse. This free event will be from noon to 2:30. If you can't make it, you can still watch it from your backyard, so make sure you have your eclipse glasses to avoid any eye injury. That's all for entertainment. Back to you guys at the desk.
We had another opportunity to work with 1011 News and UNL Communications to bring you This Week at UNL with Mackenzie Noble.
UNL's resident dog expert takes his canine research global. Psychology professor Jeffrey Stevens founded UNL's Canine Cognition and Human Interaction Lab in 2018. The so-called Dog Cog Lab focuses on understanding dog psychology and how dogs influence human behavior. Now, Stevens will co-direct the Many Dogs Project, a worldwide pack of 25 dog labs devoted to the study of our four-legged friends. With canine research labs spread around the globe, Stephen plans to test how dog breeds behave differently in different human cultures. Nebraska grade schoolers get to the root of how to be a tree. The new Trees in the Classroom program makes students think about the role of trees in their community. In one lesson, students pretend to be trees and try to absorb nutrients, sunshine, and water. Each student gets a blue spruce seedling to take home and plant at the end of the 6-week program. Trees in the Classroom is led by the Nebraska Forest Service, an affiliate of UNL. About 600 second and third graders will participate in the program. A Nebraska town hit hard by historic flooding gets help from the College of Architecture. Extreme flooding in 2019 cut off all roadways to Fremont, turning the town into an island. Now, community and regional planning students from UNL present their hazard mitigation plans to the citizens of Fremont at an open house. The class developed strategies to reduce flood risk and increase public awareness.
So we had engaged the university to work on a risk awareness project following the 2019 flooding event to look at, what we knew we didn't know.
We've worked with them to provide information on floodplain awareness, and it'll help us with credits for the community rating system. And the more credits you have with the community rating system, the bigger discounts we're able to provide on flood insurance for our area residents.
Feels good knowing that the work you're doing actually contributes back to the local economy. Whether you're a resident or not of that community, you are having a direct impact into these people's lives, not just for today, but for the decades to come, the years to come.
Students will incorporate the public's input into their final flood mitigation recommendations. If you like art and ice cream, you might like Sundays at the Sheldon. Starting now, the Sheldon Museum of Art will be open an extra 12 hours each week. To celebrate the new schedule, the museum is dishing up ice cream sundaes from noon to 5 p.m. this Sunday. Admission is free and open to the public. For more information about museum events, visit sheldonartmuseum.org. And that's what's happening this week at UNL. I'm Mackenzie Noble.
Let's take one last look at the weather for this weekend. Logan?
Chance for severe weather tomorrow, possible tornado or two with hail and damaging winds, but looking at that week ahead, we'll be seeing those temperatures slowly start to rise as we get to around 70 degrees on Friday with sunshine on Monday, Tuesday, and then also Wednesday and Friday. But as we look now, as I'm a weatherman, people always often say, why can't you control the weather, or can you please get the weather like this? But I say I can't do that, but hopefully I'll try my best for the solar eclipse, because we won't have another one until August 23rd of 2044 in the United States.
Wow. Logan, why can't you control the weather?
Lots of dynamics in the atmosphere, lots of hard classes, but I try my best.
If you don't want to tell the viewers you control it, we all know you control it. I have a 9 a.m. tea time, so just push the rain back a little bit. Middle afternoon, we'll be good.
I'll do my best.
Thanks, Logan.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Nebraska Nightly.